when I read the topic, it sounded kind of philosophic to me. What does good look like? Is your talk going to be that, or is it going to be different?
Defining what's good for any medium is really important. And I think the reason we're asking what does good look like for native digital projects for opera and dance is really important because it's a relatively new field. So if I make a documentary film or I do a live stream or a live broadcast of an opera, I know what good looks like. I'm a trained director, so I know where to put the cameras, what the lighting should be like, how the narrative develops and all the rest of it. But when we come to AR and VR and AI and collaborative workings between artists in the performing arts and technologists, we're into a very different arena. And so actually defining what good is far from philosophical. It's going to be highly practical because we're going to use concrete examples of projects that we think represent good. And they're drawn from a new collaboration between the IMZ Academy, of which I'm the director, and Fedora, Paris-based organization which gives prizes every year for opera and dance innovation. But this year they've added a digital prize. And actually this whole question of what is good was really important because I chaired the jury for this year's prize, and we had to start to put together some criteria for what is a good project. The quality of the idea, the nature of the storytelling, the collaboration between artistic disciplines or institutions, really crucially, the audience. How does a project reach the audience? And that's quite a challenge in this particular area of immersive media because lots of questions. Is it an individual experience? Is it a collective experience? How do you get more people involved? Can you interact properly with technology? So that's why we're asking what good looks like.
So you figured out what good is or what good could be in that jury, and that's what you bring to your talk.
Yes, because and we'll be talking about specific projects because we had to nominate 3 projects from many projects that were submitted. And there was also an audience prize, there was an open prize, so there were in fact 4 projects. And they represent a range of what we think quality is, or I suppose potentially could be, because none of the projects are yet realized. So that's the exciting thing, it's new stuff. And of course, one of the really big changes that's been happening in the last few months since we've been working on this, of course, sadly, is the coronavirus crisis. And suddenly, this digital communication takes on a new urgency and a new centrality. Because for sure, our world is changing. Our world will emerge, please God, from all of this changed. And the notion of how performing arts institutions don't just stream conventional performances or mind their back catalogue or do master classes, nothing wrong with any of that. It's all great, it's all happening. We need to start to think about what this connectivity and this creativity in a changed world will be. So that's why I think that it's no longer theoretical or philosophical, it's practical and it's now.
So when we speak of a future world that definitely will be different because, well, everything goes online now, what do you think will happen to like this plentiness or whatever of orchestras that we have? Like right now here in Germany, we've got a very luxurious situation, many orchestras. Do you think this will change due to bigger orchestras streaming online and putting things out there?
I would very much hope that this technology, which is always a tool and a tool for communication, won't be anything to do with suppressing live music. In fact, I think it's the opposite. I think that live music is promoted, made more special by digital means of engagement with the audience. We've seen no evidence so far that people don't want to experience music live. It's critical for us as human beings, just as we want to have contact with people in the street. We want to have contact with people who are artists who are making things, and we want to experience it. Okay, so I think that's a given. I think the impact will come, or what is in fact already coming, by allowing musicians and other artists to find new ways of connecting, new ways of communicating with different audiences, with different people, finding new means of expressions for their art. Because I think it's important to remember that the point about the session that we're going to be having on Friday is this is talking about new work. This is not doing Tosca and putting cameras on it, which I can do. We know how to do that. This is about composers, choreographers, technologists, dramaturgs, storytellers working together with musicians to communicate in new ways. So it's more and different work for people. It's not instead of. We're not pretending that when these difficult times pass that people won't want to go to a live performance or theatre. We know already that digital can enhance performances, but what we've been looking at is if you take the technology as the primary means of communication, the printing press, shall we say, in Gutenberg's time, that's what digital is. It's a printing press, and it allows you to decide what you want to publish. You know, that's become a common word now from old media into new. We talk about publishing things. And just as there can be good books and bad books, so there can be good digital art and bad digital art, as we know. And in music and dance, we're in quite early stages, which makes it a really exciting stimulation and opportunity.
Thank you very much.
It's been my very great pleasure.
Yes, I'm excited for your talk on Friday. I'll be following.
It's interesting that you thought it was going to be philosophical. It certainly isn't going to be philosophical.
Well, you know, I don't like, for me, things in the world are never only good or bad. So I thought maybe there was something in between, or a process.
Yeah, no, the original title actually was Innovation and Creativity in Digital for the Performing Arts, which is really what it's about. So, and I think you've taken a very, I mean, I know what you mean. It sounds philosophical, and they say, what does good mean? I suppose you could, another word for it would be quality or something like that. But anyway, well, we'll hope that no one will feel that it's too much going to be about Aristotle and Heidegger.
No, I don't think so. I think it will be great. Thank you very much for taking time.
Pleasure to meet you.